This is the Dark Side of Muncie, the murder of Tammy Craycraft Smith. This episode contained discussions of real violence, murder, and loss. All individuals named are real people, and the events described are based on documented court records, law enforcement reports, and verified public sources. This video is produced for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing in this episode is intended to speculate beyond the facts, defame any individual, or glorify acts of violence. Out of respect for the victim and their family, certain personal details have been omitted. Listener discretion is advised. So the setting is night in Muncie, not the loud kind of night. The kind where the streets are almost empty, where porch lights glow without movement, where apartment buildings sit still like they're holding their breath. Tonight you standing on a residential street in Delaware County, near a cluster of modest apartment buildings. Nothing look unusual from the outside, but inside one of those units, time has already stopped, and the only thing left moving is the truth waiting to be. So before the sirens, before the yellow tape, before anyone said the word murder, there was Tammy Craycraft Smith. People who knew her would say she had a sweet personality, a beautiful smile. These are small details, but the kind that tell you she was more than a name on the file. Tammy was a daughter, a cousin, a friend, a woman working, living a structured life in Muncie. The kind of life where people notice when you don't show up. She had routine. Work, home, calls returned, responsibilities handled. Tammy didn't disappear from life. So when she stopped answering the phone, when she didn't arrive where she was supposed to be, people felt that immediately. So it was February 2001. Winter still sit heavy over Muncie. The air is sharp, streets empty early. Tammy is living in her apartment on a residential street in the city, not far from others. Working families, not hidden, not isolated. She recently been involved with a man named Christopher Burns. That relationship had ended, but endings don't always end clean. Burns was now involved with another woman named Christy Williams. See, Christy Williams, she had hatred towards Tammy. Even though that was the ex in a past chapter, she still didn't like her. What investigators would later learn is that the past wasn't done with Tammy. Okay, so when Tammy ain't answered the phone, it wasn't brushed off, because Tammy always answered her phone. When she didn't show up where she was supposed to be, people noticed. That's the thing about routines. They don't organize life, they expose danger. Someone close to Tammy Craycraft Smith called for help. Not panic, not for certain. Just a quiet sentence people say when fear hasn't fully formed yet. Something not right. So a welfare check was requested. Officers from Muncie Police Department was dispatched to Tammy apartment in Muncie, Indiana. They arrived to a building. From the outside, everything looked normal. No broken windows, no screaming, no obvious signs of violence. They knocked, no answer. They announced themselves, still nothing. At that point, procedures take over. Police made entry, and the moment they stepped inside, the air told them everything they need to know. It was visible signs of violence leading into the door. Then they found something. This wasn't someone sleeping. This wasn't someone hurt. Inside the apartment, officer found Tammy Craycraft Smith. She had been stabbed repeatedly. Not once, not suddenly, but again and again and again. This wasn't a stranger passing through. This wasn't random. This was personal. Police secured the scene, and with that, the life of Tammy was over. The routines, the phone calls, the plans was all over. What remained was a question that Muncie would soon have the answer to. Who could do this? Why would anyone do this? So evidence showed Tammy fought for her life. She fought till she couldn't fight no more. There was no signs of a forced entry. Someone had access. Someone she didn't expect would kill her. Her vehicle was missing. Her bank card was gone. Suddenly, the case moved fast because murderers always make the same mistake. They take things that can be tracked. Detectives later called the bank. They asked simple questions. Have Tammy's debit card being used? The answer come back quick. Yes. Not just once. Her card is being swiped again and again after her death. Gas stations, food stops, purchases Tammy never made, and the location don't sit still. Each transaction pushes further from Muncie. The map starts to stretch. Out of Delaware County, out of state, every receipt becomes a breadcrumb. Every time stamp become a moment Tammy wasn't alive to authorize. Detectives line them up in order, swipe by swipe, mile by mile. What they watching isn't spinning, it's flight. And with that flight, two names start to rise to the surface. So a name from Tammy past, a relationship that ended but never really closed. Christopher Burns. Burns was just someone Tammy knew. He was someone who'd been inside of her life she dated. He was someone who didn't need to force her door. Someone who knew her routines. Someone who would have known where she kept things. And Burns wasn't alone. With him, another name investigators already circled. Christy Williams, Burns' current girlfriend. The triangle sharpness, jealousy, resentment, money. None of those alone prove murder, but together, they start to explain why Tammy died. The debit card trail keep going. The transactions don't stop at state line. They move west, far west, until the map stops expanding and lands on one city, Phoenix, Arizona. Now this isn't coincidence. This isn't travel for work. This is not vacation. This is distance. This is panic disguised as motion. Investigators coordinate with authorities outside of Indiana. They hand over names, descriptions, and vehicle information. And suddenly, what started as a quiet apartment in Muncie is now a multi-state manhunt. Not built on tips or sightings, but built on Tammy money. Phoenix is loud, bright, busy, but the rest isn't dramatic. No chase, no resistance. Just a quiet collapse of people who knew it was over. Burns and Williams was taken into custody. They don't maintain innocence for long because the evidence is heavy and the truth is heavier. So back in Indiana, investigators hear what no family would expect would happen. Both defendants confess. They admit to killing Tammy Craycraft Smith. They admit to taking her car. They admit to using her money and running. This isn't speculation. This is documented facts. So we at Delaware County Courthouse. It doesn't look dramatic from the outside. Wooden benches, hard chairs, fluorescent lights that make everything feel colder. When Christopher Burns stands before the court, there is no mystery left. He pleaded guilty. So does Christy Williams. No jury trial, no alternate story, just consequences. The judge sentenced Christopher Burns to life in prison without parole. Christy Williams, 65 years. There is no sound when the sentence is read, no relief, no closure, just wait. This wasn't about love. It wasn't about passion. It was about control, jealousy, and greed. Tammy Craycraft Smith didn't die because she lived recklessly. She died because she trusted people who decided her life was disposable. So tonight we say her name. Her name was Tammy Craycraft Smith. She was a daughter, a cousin, and a friend. She lived in Muncie, Indiana. She worked. She showed up. She mattered. Tammy didn't disappear. She was taken. Taken by people she knew. Taken by people she trusted. Taken by choices rooted in jealousy, control, and greed. She didn't get a chance to fight for tomorrow. She didn't get a chance to say goodbye to the ones who loved her. When the courtroom emptied, when the sentence was read, when the doors closed behind the people who killed her, Tammy was gone. So tonight we say her name. Because silence is what violence counts on. We say her name because she was more than what happened to her. We say her name because she is not reduced to a headline. a file number, or a footnote in the dark history of the city. I am Darius Nefarious, and this is Dark Side of Muncie.